Hello grandkids, today we're going to make one of your favourites. We're going to make pizza, but we're going to make the pizza dough first from scratch so you can learn how to make it yourself. We need some dried yeast, that's how you buy it, in a little packet like that, that's 7 grams. We need 1.5 cups of warm water, a little bit of sugar. Here we go. Yeast, warm water, and a little bit of sugar. So stir that around. Now I usually cover that, and what it will do, it will make little bubbles. I'm going to show you one that I did previously so you can have a look. Now that's really important to activate the yeast. So we put a lid on it and we put it aside, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have lots of little bubbles on top. We're going to put 4 cups of plain flour into our bowl. You can sift it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to add a little bit of salt to this mixture. Okay. Quick sieve. And a little bit of salt, pinch of salt, maybe 2 pinches for this amount of flour. All right. Now, I've got my dough hook here on my machine. Makes life a lot easier. What we're going to do, we're going to make a well, and we're going to add the yeast, and we're going to add 1/4 of a cup of oil, and we're going to put this onto the mixer and let the mixer do the work for us. Put it on like a number 1 to start with so flour doesn't go everywhere. And then you can speed it up a little bit. You can see the dough is starting to come away from the sides of the bowl. That's good. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit. And it needs to mix for about 5 minutes. If you don't have a dough hook, mix the flour and water and yeast in the bowl and put it out on a floured board. Then we need to knead it. It's always good to use the palm of your hand for kneading and pushing it away from your body. And keep rotating the dough. And you'll feel the dough getting quite spongy. That's good. That's what we want. So knead it for about 5 minutes. Your wrist might get a little bit sore, so get someone to help you. Okay, after we finish kneading the dough, make it into a nice ball. Get yourself a bowl like that. Put a little bit of oil in the bottom of the bowl. Just swish it around, even with your hand. We're going to put the dough into the bowl. We're going to cover it. And we need to let the dough double in size. So I usually find a warm spot, maybe where the sun is shining, or somewhere warm near a warm stove. And when it's doubled in size, it'll be ready to make our pizza base. As you see, the dough has doubled in size. Yum, yum. Then we're going to top it with the red sauce, the pasta sauce we made the other day. I'm going to put capsicum, mushroom, onion, olives, anchovies and oregano, and of course the 2 main cheeses, there's parmesan and mozzarella. I always like to buy the mozzarella whole and grate it myself, and it makes it all nice and stringy. So here we go. We're going to grate the mozzarella. It's got a knob at the top, and that's actually to hold it. So what I usually do is cut the plastic, be very careful, hold it by the knob, and I always grate on the thicker one. You need about a cup, if not a little bit more. That looks like it's enough. So, whoa, that looks beautiful. I'm going to put that in the bowl. we're ready to make our pizzas. So we knock the dough down. Oh, that feels nice. Right texture. Okay, we're going to bring that out of the bowl. Just give it a little knead. Just going to cut it in probably thirds. I'll just put that back in the bowl. And that one. I'll put that back in the bowl. I'm just going to cover that. Now, with this one, we're going to spread it with our hands, not a rolling pin. So we put a little bit of oil on the tray. Smear it with your hands. And put the dough on the tray and just keep pushing it out to the sides. It will shrink back, but don't worry, just keep working it. But it's got a lovely feel. You can see how silky it looks. That's good, that's what we want. Right, we've got our dough ready on our pie dish. We're going to add the red sauce. Now what you do, just bring it right to the edges like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. So just spread the red sauce around. Don't put too much. I used to have a bad habit of putting way too much red sauce. So that's probably enough for this size. Just make sure it's all even and try and take it as close as you can to the edge so the edge doesn't burn. All right, now I'm going to add my cheeses. Mozzarella cheese first. Sprinkle it all over. And you can be quite generous with the mozzarella because it makes it nice and stringy. The next cheese I add is the Parmesan cheese. Probably not too much Parmesan because it is salty. And we've got anchovies which are very salty. There we go. Oops, break that one. Now you can decorate the top with whatever you like. As I said, I'm going to use capsicum, and it's nice to make it look pretty, so I usually make a little bit of a pattern as I go around, and that's also a good way to even out some of the vegetables. Next I'm going to put my mushrooms. I love mushrooms on a pizza, so I might put the mushrooms in between. There we go, and we'll put some in the middle. There we go. Now, I'm not a lover of onions, but they do give a nice flavour, so I just use them sparingly on the top, not too many. I love my olives, so I sprinkle them all over. Makes a nice colour with the red and the white of the mushrooms. Now, anchovies, yum. Not everyone's favourite. They can be very salty. Sometimes I break them up. And again, just put them spasmodically around the pizza. There we go. Now kids, if you don't like all these toppings, just put your cheese and your pasta sauce and it's just as tasty. There we go. Now what I like to do at the end is put a good sprinkling of oregano. Smells divine when the oregano is cooking in the oven. And the last thing, which is a really good tip, is get your olive oil. Make sure you've got a very thin spout and just drizzle a tiny little bit on the top, not too much. That'll just keep it moist. All right, now we're ready to bake it. It goes into a really hot oven. I put it down the bottom shelf because mine is a fan forced oven and it can dry a bit. So try and put it down on the bottom shelf in a really hot oven and it'll probably take about 15 to 20 minutes. This one is the really plain pizza. It's just going to have cheese and the red sauce, and a lot of children like it this way because it doesn't have too much of the rich toppings. So let's get our dough. Whoa, that's nice. Put a little bit of oil at the bottom, spread it around, and put your dough there. Remember I said just use your fingers. This is great for kids because they can get their hands all dirty. Now we're going to add the red sauce. Kids can do this themselves. Lots of red sauce and just the cheeses. Okay, just a little bit more there. Remember, not too much sauce, and try and take it to the edges. We don't want it dripping. So a little bit of parmesan. Doesn't matter which one you do first. You can do parmesan, you can do mozzarella. I know the children really love the mozzarella, so we're going to be very generous with the mozzarella on this one. Here we go. Ah, lots and lots. The grandkids love it when it all comes out of the oven and it's all stringy. You will need to put a little bit of oil on the top like we did the other one, not too much. It goes into a really hot oven, probably about 350 in the old scale or 180. I'd even make it 200 degrees and check it after 15 minutes. Here we go. There we go. Right, the last pizza I'm going to make for my grandchildren today is one of their favourites. It's the Australian pizza with ham and pineapple. Yes, ham and pineapple. A lot of Italians don't like ham and pineapple, but I know a lot of Australians do. So we're going to get our dough again, which is looking beautiful. We've put oil on the bottom of this pizza dish, and we're going to stretch it out just like we did the last one to all the corners. All right. We're going to put the red sauce. Again, not too much. This is that lovely pasta sauce that we made the other day. I always keep some in the fridge for pizza. Comes in very handy. All right, red sauce. Now, we're going to add our cheeses. Just a little bit of the parmesan. And of course the mozzarella. There we go. Lots and lots of mozzarella. There. And the famous ham and pineapple. I like to put the ham first. I always get very thin ham so it cooks very quickly, and just scatter it over. It doesn't have to be in any particular design or pattern, just as long as it's got a nice scattering. That's going to be very tasty. I used a double smoked ham, but you can use any ham that you like. Now the pineapple. So I usually break the pineapple so it's not too thick. Just break it with your hands because it's going to cook in the oven. You can even slice the pineapple if you want to. That's the last of the pineapple. A little bit of oil on the top, just a little bit on the top. Here we go, putting it into a hot oven. Remember to check it after about 15 minutes. It might need about 20, sometimes even 25. Now we're going to get the children's one out. Oh, looking beautiful. And I'm just going to check the one with all the topping. Now we're going to take out the one with all the toppings. Ah, yes, that looks cooked. Very nice. And this is our ham and pineapple pizza. Ah, yes. Looking very nice. Well, there's our 3 pizzas. I'm going to try the one with all the toppings. That's my favourite one. And we'll see what it tastes like. Remember to let them cool when you take them out of the oven. And traditionally, pizza is eaten with the hands. So, bon appetit. Delicious.